Craig, I can imagine everyone's hurting after that. Obviously, defeat on the road, but how are you feeling after the performance today?
It's a mixture of frustration and positivity. Frustration in that first half that it seems to be like a bit of a broken record that we're talking about, conceding penalties coming out of yardage and then just relieving pressure. It's them pressure releases that we need to get out of our system at the minute. 2 tries in that first half, it was pressure releases and the score on the back of that, and it's handling that adversity better, handling the situation better, coming out of them their defensive areas, which I thought we did in the second half. Really good in the second half. Thought having Cravo out there were great for us, ending the sets deep, and then we defended tough, but we defended disciplined as well, which then meant that we could play in the right areas of the field. Thought offensively, there were times when we looked all right. There were times when we looked a little bit scratchy because it's Cravo's first week with us. Jack Bussey coming back in, it's his first game in 6-8 weeks, whatever it is. So them combinations that if we keep these people fit now, hopefully we can start building on combinations.
Ryan Miller goes over for that try in the first half, but then obviously back-to-back tries just before the break. Did that change your half-time team talk at all?
Not really, no, because the half-time team talk were exactly the same, because we conceded the tries at the end for the same reason why we conceded the first few tries. So it didn't really change; it just reinforced the message that we needed to give to the players. But we said to the guys at half-time, look, we can't chase the scoreboard. What we've got to do is we've got to chase the process, and the process is to complete your set. Certainly this season, but in any game, you've got to complete your sets. You've got to put the opposition in an area of the field that they don't want to be in, and that's coming out of your own yardage area. If you're giving the opposition the ball on the halfway line or in your half, and they're attacking your goal line, that's where they want to be. They don't want to be in a position where they're carrying the ball away from their own yardage. I thought we did that in that second half, and then the scoreboard looks after itself then. Hopefully there's some green shoots there that we can carry into next week at London.
That second half in particular, that 35-minute spell, you must have been pleased with the response to obviously get us back into the game, and unfortunately we just fell short with the goal kicking, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, yeah, but that's how it is. We haven't got a recognised goal kicker at the minute, so you're going to have some weeks where the part-time goal kicker might nail them all, and some weeks the part-time goal kicker is going to miss every one. You'll score 3 tries and no goals, and that's ultimately how we are at the minute. We can't really moan about that because we can't change it. But as long as we put ourselves in the positions like we did in that second half, and we get into that process, and again I say it all the time, that the more often you do the right things, the luckier that you get, and I think that's how we got with Wello's try, where it was a bit of a bounce pass, but we were in that position because we were doing the right stuff, and you get them 50-50 bounces or the 50-50 calls at times when you're doing the right stuff, and we've just got to make sure that we understand that message and deliver on that message more often.
And I know we've obviously got defeated this afternoon, but last week's performance, this week's performance, you must be more happier with the showings that we're coming up with at the minute.
Yeah, I am. Like I said, there's a lot of positivity. There's been a lot of change this year, and we've had to cope with a lot of injuries and a lack of halfbacks, which has obviously impacted on certain things. But the green shoots are showing. We just need to make sure that we're doing it for longer in games. We're great for periods in games. Might be a 20-minute period or a 35-minute period like in that second half, but we've got to make sure them periods increase. And again, I've said that a lot of times, but we've got to make sure we execute that, and we'll keep working hard. We'll keep putting the hours in at training. We'll keep giving the players the messages they need to, the pictures that they need to see at training, on the reviews and the previews, and hopefully the message gets there, and the guys, their attitude is like it was today in that second half. I thought it was first clash, and they dug deep for each other. They were putting their own goal line defensively for a number of times that second half. They just kept showing up for each other, So that's the sort of attitude we want, the sort of togetherness we need.
And I think if we try and replicate this attitude again for next week, dust ourselves down, go again. Obviously, it's a really big game at home next week against London.
Yeah, it's huge. It's massive. Every game this year is huge, but like I said, with the teams down there where we are, London are on the same points as us now. So it's a game that we need to go out there and win. And we've got to do. We'll do that by making sure we execute the game plan and get the messages that we don't need to chase endings, which we thought we did a couple of times, a couple of seven tackle sets where we tried to chase an ending that weren't there. Just be happy to turn the ball over in a corner and back your defence. And I think the messages are being delivered, and I think they're starting to sink in a little bit now.